Okay, we're recording. Okay, so it's time. I'm going to go ahead and let these people in.
All right.
Okay. Make sure everybody gets muted here. Let's see. Mid all. Mute all. All right, welcome everyone. This is Nick Legamar. I'm with Eric Sage, creativedealmaker.com. We're going to just go through a real high level approach of what we're doing, and we're going to actually go through an actual exit on the deals that we've been talking about and showing through the Dealmaker deal or no deal analysis we've been doing. So we're going to give it a few more minutes for people to join in. Please mute yourself when you come in if you're not muted already. And what we'll do is we're going to go through everything, and then from there at the end we'll open it up to questions and answers. Because I know some people this is the first time they're hearing us, Eric. Some people have been following us for quite some time. So we want to make sure that we really look at this in a little bit different perspective and really help answer the questions that people have on how to really make these deals work. So we are give it maybe another 30 seconds and then we'll get into it. So I think while we're waiting for the rest of the people to join in, I just want to just take a minute sort of to introduce ourselves to people that may not be familiar with who we are. Again,
hey, Nick, before you start, can we make sure that the two of us are the fully pinned on this? So just you and I are viewed, not the whole gallery. Is there a way to do that?
Well, it says what it says it is right now. I don't know what else.
Maybe I'm just viewing the wrong thing then. I don't know.
No, I think we're good. All right. So
what do you see?
I see it, yes, and then the rest are across the top.
Oh, okay. So that's you're on speaker view.
Yeah.
So you're on. Am I pinned?
Yeah, you're pinned. We're good.
Okay. Are you pinned?
Yep. I think we're good.
All right. Okay, cool.
All right. So I think let me just admit there's a couple more coming in. And so I'm just trying to try to get everybody admitted, and then we will get started here.
If you guys can just do a quick comments. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, just double check that. Let us know you can hear us okay.
Give us a thumbs up or a yes. You can hear us. That'd be great. In the chat.
Yeah.
I feel like we're still using the same view as we did before in your settings.
So. We're good. This is where we're going to go with. So
okay,
it'll be good. No one else can. Only these people can. Only you and I can see the screen. So okay, we are ready to go. So just keep your eye on the chat box.
Jackson,
we're good to go. Got a lot of people joining. Got a big turnout today. So hopefully we can cover some new stuff and, more importantly, answer the questions as needed. So let me finish emitting the last few here, and we are on our way. And let's get started. So again, thanks everybody for joining and learning about the Creative Dealmaker and the Creative Dealmaker Academy. I'm Nick Legamar. I'm with Eric Sage. Extremely excited to have everybody here. For the people that this might be the first time hearing or seeing us, Eric, I really want to just take a few seconds to explain, just talk about who we are. So I've been in creative real estate and creative deal making I've been in real estate for the better part of 20 years. I've done 700 plus creative deal structuring, creative financing deals. I've done over 1,100 transactions, primarily in the state of Texas, but we do deals all over the country. And hopefully today we can show and share some of our findings and what we do. And then Eric, tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So awesome. Glad everybody could make it today. So a little bit about me. I've been in the real estate business since 2004. I got my very first deal door knocking, a pre-foreclosure, and I did a creative finance deal in order to get that done. And so I've done probably since 2004, I've completed over about 1,000 transactions from fix and flip, buy and hold, lease options, seller finance, being the bank, which is basically what we're talking about here. And the reason we're talking about this is because we love this model because it's more of a lifestyle thing, right? So I was with corporate America. I was an elevator salesman, if you can't believe it, out of college. After I had a small stint in as a professional golfer, and so I left that professional lifestyle into a corporate America as an elevator salesman. Then I was a diaper salesman, and then when I was a diaper salesman, selling for long-term, my clients were long-term care facilities, and so my main product was diapers. So that was my main thing. And then from there, I started in real estate, and I made more money part-time doing creative real estate deals than my real job. And then I knew that I could actually go and do this on my own. And so I've been doing this full-time, me and my wife, since 2004. And so the reason Nick and I are doing this program is we both love to travel. We've got kids, and we created a lifestyle around real estate, and specifically cash flowing real estate with little to no money out of your pocket in order to create these deals. So with this program today, we're going to go over kind of a case study, what our program's about, what you can get involved. But the one thing I want to mention to you is when I got my very first real creative deal in 2004, I had no idea what I was doing. I had my real estate friends that were traditional realtors had no idea what they were doing. And I found a mentor that I actually went to high school with that knew this inside and out. He just didn't advertise it. And so he became my mentor, and that's who I hung out with for a year figuring this stuff out. And I made a ton of money doing it. And now, obviously, from 2004 to 2021, I've been doing this full time. So Nick and I we kind of teamed up on this deal. I want to explain to you kind of all the heartaches that we went through and how to actually structure this stuff correctly, so you can buy it right and exit right and have all these different exit strategies. So Nick,
yeah, I think the main thing we want to be able to show is, establish the mentality of being the bank. That's the first thing, right? A lot of people don't even know they can be at the bank. And if they did know that it can be the bank, understand what that looks and feels like. And at the end of the day, what this is, the ultimate strategy is to basically walk away with a free and clear mortgage of some dollar value that you own, and you get cash flow on for some period of time. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and let's just jump into the presentation here, and let me know that you can see that. Okay. You see my screen, Eric?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right, super. So let's just talk about it here. So Creative Deal Maker Campaign, like Eric said, the reason why we made
real quick, can you guys just in the chat just say, can you see the screen? I just want to make sure everybody can see it real quick, because this is kind of the main part of the presentation here. Give us a quick chat.
One can see it. I can all see.
Yes. Awesome. All right, cool.
So here we go. The whole point of this is really to be able to generate, the conceptually is to go to the next screen here. Why is this not going? Okay, there we go. Is the fundamental pieces of this is really to generate cash now, monthly cash flow, cash later in the form of a lump sum payout. And then like I said, being the bank is really about control versus owning, how to generate cash flow versus transactional cash, which most real estate do. Even buy and hold investors like cash flow, but I think we're going to find out through this that it makes it extremely difficult to accomplish that in today's moratorium on evictions, the government being able to control everything. So let's just talk,
Nick, real quick before you get started. I want to give you guys just a quick scenario that happened to me yesterday. Okay, I just don't see this happening as a landlord. I had a borrower that hadn't paid me in, I want to say 6 months. Okay. And literally yesterday she deposited all of that money that she was behind. How many landlords have tenants not paying for 6 months and then front loading it with late penalties and everything all in one big payment? It doesn't happen. So I know we're going to get into the reason why we do this, but this is a real life case study that just happened to me yesterday. So I wanted to share the benefits of being a bank versus being a landlord.
Yeah, we've talked about being the bank before. And I think the fundamental difference is when you have a problem with, and you own a house and you have a loan or a mortgage on it, You don't call the bank when you have a broken toilet, a leaky roof, a water heater that goes out, the HVAC stops working. You deal with it yourself. So you just put yourself on the other side of the ledger, and being the bank in that situation, these borrowers aren't going to be calling you either. And that's the whole concept of what we do. So finding and funding deals. Okay. And we're going to talk about how I generated and found this particular deal we're going to go through. But this was really, really set up perfectly if you're a wholesaler. If you're a wholesaler, you know that you are extremely challenged in today's landscape to go get deals. It's extremely competitive. I think the number, I don't even know what it was. Millions of people have entered into the real estate space since 2010. Most of them are wholesaling. Extremely competitive market. So what we teach and what we can show you how to do is how to monetize those dead leads. Most wholesalers have a plan A. What happens when plan A fails? There's no plan B. This is your plan B. And we're going to explain to that how you can monetize those dead leads. If you're a fix and flipper, that's great, but that's a transactional model. It's not, we want it to be non-transactional. When you fix and flip, you get paid for that and you don't get any cash flow as a result of it. Remember, we're trying to show you how to generate cash now, cash flow, and cash later in the form of lump sum payout. Tired landlords, if you're a landlord right now, you can still generate cash flow by creative deal structuring and without being the tenant or the landlord on this. It's about being a lien lord, not a landlord.
And Nick, not to interrupt, I just explained to you what just happened to me in real life yesterday. That the landlords aren't getting paid in a lot of time. And here's the worst part is business owners are getting PPP money. There's employment retention programs that just came out for business owners. Landlords are not getting any benefit right now. I think there'll be something that comes out, but it's so far, I don't know anyone that is getting bailed out right now of not getting income for their rental properties.
Yeah. But the bottom line is this, the government, I think if we learned anything, the government has a lot of control on your rental properties.
Yes.
I would have never said that a year ago. They control it because they can just say, you don't have to pay your rent. You can't raise your rents. You can't do anything. Well, guess what? If you're the bank, you will always get paid being the bank. You might not get paid today, might not get paid tomorrow, but you will get paid. And the reason why you get paid by being the bank, because you have the property as collateral. That's the secret sauce to this whole thing. You will get paid. So, and then if you're not a wholesaler or a fixer flipper or a landlord, there's still plenty of space for you to be a creative deal financing expert. Because if you're not one of those, then go to one of those three that I just said and be a deal architect for them. And if you don't know landlords or fix and flippers or wholesalers, then you can also go find these deals through MLS, and we like to look at stuff that's like 60 days or longer on market, expired listings, or for sale by owner. So that's how you can find these opportunities. And then how do you fund them, right? And then when you fund them, you can fund them at different ways. The 3 or 4 most popular ways are here. There's the seller financing option where we buy it from a seller and they give us terms. We can buy it subject to the existing bank debt, which is a great model as well. Or you can take it down with hard money, private capital, cash, or through a conventional loan. So we're going to go into this the next slide here, and we're going to talk about what these 10 steps are. I'm just going to go through these quickly because I really want to get into the actual deal on what it looks like. So the 10 steps, the quick start plan, and what we're trying to show is how to generate infinite return on investment with extremely low risk and hopefully zero cash out of pocket to transact the deal. And then as a result of it on the exit is generating cash now, cash flow, and cash later. And that's exactly what we're going to show with the model that we did. So on these 10 steps, we already sort of talked about how we're going to find the deal. Okay. If it's going to be a subject to deal, then we will need a mortgage statement. And we want to always have pictures, and you need to know what the maximum allowable offer would be to do that transaction. when you want to identify the the ARV or the after repair value. And we can use services like Propelio, PropStream, Zillow to calculate that. There again, that's strictly up to you to determine what works best in your areas. And then we want to figure out what the exit strategy is going to be. And that's what we're going to show in the example here. How to be the bank, or how do we want to buy? Do we want to hold it? Is it a short-term rental, long-term rental? We always try to solve for being the bank first. But if you get a good deal and it makes sense to keep it as an Airbnb or a short-term rental or long-term rental, then do that model, because you got to figure out the priority on what makes sense. This particular deal, and what we try to do is make them us to be the bank and create the note. There's the modeling, and a lot of people have seen what the as is and the rehab modeling is. If you stay on the end of the call and go to the site, if you don't have a copy of the modeling spreadsheet, we'll be happy to send you a quick analysis version of it. Then there's the calculator. Matter of fact, all this stuff is part of the Creative Dealmaker Academy. And if you're already a member, you already have access to it. And if you want to become a member, you can learn how to do that as well. But we really just want to dive into the exact numbers of this deal. And then that's pretty much it. We're going to talk about how we funded the deal, how we found the buyer, and how we cashed out of this deal. So let's just jump into it real quick. Here's the deal.
Hey, Nick, real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
I just everybody right now, we're going to go through this fairly quickly, and then we're going to take questions at the end. So just start writing down the questions you have. You can put them in the chat, but just write them down, and then we'll just start trying to answer them at the end of the presentation. Yeah, please do. So go ahead and put them in the chat now. We'll get to them at the end. Hopefully we'll cover a lot of the questions that you may have once we get through it. So here's the actual deal, and you can go Google it. You can look it up. You can find it, and happy to share any of this. This is a property we literally just did. It's in Kaufman, Texas, which is a little bit south of Dallas. Coincidentally, the name of the street is Dallas. How did we get this property? Well, we actually got this property from a wholesaler that was wholesaling like a traditional wholesaler does. Probably marked it up 5, 6, 7, 8 grand. I don't know. Don't really care because the deal worked. And we bought it, and we took it down with hard money, and we sold it on a wrap mortgage. Okay. And all a wrap mortgage, most people should know what hard money is. It's this expensive money that's usually used for short-term, for a short term. A wrap mortgage is taking the existing mortgage and we wrapped it. Now, you wouldn't typically wrap hard money, but when you exit out of, like I'm going to show you, it makes sense. And I think that's the whole reason why I chose this particular deal, to show how even with expensive capital and paying a fairly expensive, I would say expensive, a higher price than if I would have negotiated direct with the seller, that the model still works. So let's go. The cool thing is you can, the offer you made to the bank or your investor, your hard money investor, you could offer you could offer half that in some circumstances to the seller, but a lot of times the seller just wants to cash out and you have a wholesaler involved. Okay, yeah, let's not go too far in the weeds here. Yeah. You can acquire this many different ways. Yeah. If you can negotiate direct with the seller, great. I didn't go direct to seller. The wholesaler already had it in the contract. Yeah. No way I'm ever going to go directly to the seller if it's already there, right? Yep. But you could surely do that, and we get deals direct with the seller. We get stuff subject to as well. This is a cash transaction. This is probably the worst. That's probably not the right word. This is probably the least valuable of all the strategies. But I want to model it this way, because if this is the worst thing the deal structure you're gonna get, and probably not the right choice of words. No, it's probably the least profitable. That's probably a better choice of words. Profitable, but it's still very profitable. Well, and that's what we're going to show right now. Yeah, exactly. If I can go get this from a seller on seller financing with 0 to 2% interest, and have them carry everything and not put any money into the deal, that's a heck of a lot better than paying my hard money lender 12.9% and 2 points plus whatever. So let's just get into the deal. So the as is deal model. So the very first thing that I do is once I see this deal come in, or I'm looking at a property, is I have to run the model, right? Because the model is going to tell me right away if it's going to work or not. So here's the model.
Okay. And actually the first thing I want to do, very first thing before I do the model is I run a quick test and I want to know what the value is, like what I can sell it for, meaning like, here's my acquisition price of 129. So the very first thing I do is I take that acquisition price and I divide it by 0.7, I divide it by 75%. And what that tells me is what I would need to sell this property for this model to work. And I don't know if 172 is a good exit price or not. We're going to show here why it is on the next couple of slides, but that's the very first thing I do. Okay. Then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to assume that that I can exit out of there. Well, actually, let me go down to the next slide here. So then I'm going to determine what the sales price is. Okay. So this has got a couple different pieces of information on it. So I'm going to start on the right side first. So I identified the value being about $215,000. Okay. If I was going to do rehab, which we're not going to do, but I want to assume that I'm going to, that somebody would do the rehab, I put it at $30,000, extremely high. And when you see the pictures, you're going to say that's not a $30,000 rehab. But there again, I use it to model conservatively. I'm not going to give them a $30,000 reduction in the sale price. I'm going to give them about 30%, which in this case would be about $9,000. It's a little bit more, but I just rounded it down to 9,000. So my maximum,
Nick, real quick, the $30,000 discount or the 30% discount, you're just giving the borrower, the buyer, discount basically off the labor.
Well, that's what I'm going to show right here. Yeah. So
okay.
Instead of selling this at 215, I'm going to give them a discount of $9,000 and sell them at this owner finance value of 206. That would be the number, right? So remember these numbers when I go back to the thing. Okay. So that would be the number $206,000. Well, I didn't sell this house at 206. Could I have sold it for that? Maybe, but I didn't. I sold it at 175 and I got $15,000 down and I financed 162. So I knew it was going to work at 172. I sold it at 175. I could have sold it for a little bit more, but for illustration purposes, I wanted to show worst case scenario. Okay. That's what this is. I could have probably sold it for a little more. I could have probably held it a little bit longer, but I chose to sell it to this buyer. And this is what I did. So this amount I'm going to finance is the $162,000. So if you take, excuse me, that's actually was 160. Excuse me, that's a typo there. Let me change that real quick. So we're talking about the right thing. 160 is the finance amount. And over here, that means I write $132,000 first lien at 9.5% and a $28,000 second lien. Okay. So now that I know that, I go back in and I go into my modeling, and as I put this information in here. And if you look at these numbers, I had modeled it initially at 179, because remember, I didn't change this. I modeled this to try to figure out what my profitability would be on the deal and if I wanted to execute the contract or not. So when I first started doing this, I mean, I'm already done with this deal. I modeled this on July 27th. Today is August 31st. So I modeled it on July 27th, 33 days ago. I bought the property, I sold the property, and I cashed out of the property in less than 30 days. Okay.
So how many fix and flips can you get in and out and do full renovations in that time period in this market?
Not many. You can't even get an appraisal back in
not 30, and then resell it to a conventional buyer.
So that's what this model is, right? So the initial model was this. And then if I go to the next sheet, this is all, this is the modeling that we talked about. I'm just showing it to show what the process is. I'm not going to get into the weeds on this. Just understand that the numbers work and they work. So we talked about the 75% value. We talked about determining the sale price. Now, so let's talk about what this actually is. How did I get that number? Well, I ran comps. I did a CMA summary and I wanted to see what the market would bear on a property. So here's what I come up with based on a couple of comps in the general area. I just picked a couple. The average price based on the average price per square feet, $216,000. Okay. Well, if it is a $30,000 rehab and I sold it at $2 and it's worth $215 and I take 30 off of that, what would be the adjusted price. It'd be $185,000. So I'm actually even below that. Okay. So this is a really good deal for the borrower. It's a good deal for me too. Could I have made it
Hey,
even a
Nick,
better
and
deal?
just so you know,
Absolutely.
just for the listeners here, there's nothing wrong with having the borrower with instant equity in their mind before they do the reno, because guess what's going to happen? They're just not going to default. I mean, especially with 15,000 down, it's very rare for someone that in their mind, they have 15, 20, $30,000 worth of equity for them to default, which makes your life real easy because you just keep collecting. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And here's the thing. And then people probably go, why didn't you sell it for more money? Well, I could have, but the reason why is because the last 2 weeks I've been pretty much traveling and on vacation, and it was just easier just to get the deal done, because the amount of time that I spent on this deal personally is only a couple of hours, because the resources and the team around doing all this stuff is all part of the process. It's all part of the turnkey solution.
You have a small team in order to do as many of these deals as you can. Hey, Nick, real quick, what's the program you use for the comping on this?
So this one is used with Propelio, right?
Propelio, okay.
And we can make some of this stuff available to anybody that wants more information on it. But you can use PropStream, you can use Realtor.com, you can use
Zillow,
MLS, Zillow. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just choose this one because I like certain things for certain things. I use Propelio and PropStream both. This one I was able to pull it real quick, and then here's some of the more sold comps. And I look at some things. This is really critical here. The reason I like using Propelio is because I can't click on this property right now, but I can go into anything that's sold or that's being sold, and I can click on it and I can get the realtor information. And that's how I sold this property. I'll show you that in the next screen. So what's cool, what I like,
especially with low inventory right now, you can go anywhere and get.
So these two properties sold in 15 and 23 days. I mean, gee, many Christmas. That's pretty quick. So,
and those were fully renovated, I think, weren't they? Or one was and one wasn't.
Yeah, I think they were pretty renovated. But we're going to look at the pictures here, and I want to show you exactly why I didn't rehab this property in a second. So let's continue on. So now I'm ready to make the purchase on this. Okay. So I did all my due diligence on the property. I made a decision that I'm going to buy it, and I know how I'm going to exit out of it and what that's going to look like. So here's the purchase of it. So I'm going to buy it for $129,000. I'm going to do 0 repairs, and it's going to cost me about $4,000 for 30 days for this property. Extremely expensive. Right?
But keep in mind, the reason that Nick and I we battle back and forth. I'm like, holy crap, why are you paying 12.9 and 2 points? The key to this is, which he always says, is I have 0. They give him 100% financing, and they defer the payments for 12 months. So he has no cost other than the interest accruing, but he already knows what his exit is. So it's worth having stress-free. So how many of you could go to investors in your local market and offer 12.9 and 2 points and get 100% financing, plus probably an extra few bucks to cover some other marketing expenses? A lot of people will do that right now.
Well, and there's plenty of it. And when we see the model, we can see how you can leverage that. Because let me ask you a question, Eric. If I have no money into the deal, how many deals can I do?
I mean, well, that's our battle back and forth is.
How many can I do?
I mean, as many as you can find.
How many? As many as I can find, because I never run out of cash, right? If every deal costs me $10,000, if every deal cost me $10,000, but even though I was going to make a lot of money on the back end and I only had $20,000, I can only do 2.
But keep in mind, Nick, when you do these deals, this is one of the things we're paying a premium that the wholesalers love us, because we're not even questioning what they're selling it to us for, as long as the model works. And you guys,
so this one I bought from a wholesaler, but the wholesaler I bought this from, they could have very easily done this same deal.
Yeah.
And kept it all to themselves.
They're transactional. They're transactional.
Well, that's the mindset they have. So let's just talk about this purchase. So I call it phase 1. So the seller is going to receive the cash, right? Because I'm going to close on it, use hard money to fund it. The wholesaler is going to receive whatever assignment fee they are. And then my hard money lender is going to get 12.9% and 2 points. And they're going to get all their money back in about 45 days. Okay. So I don't even know what that return is for them. I didn't even figure that out, because I'm paying another 2% on 129. That's another $2,500 plus, call it 2 months of holding cost. I mean, they're making a lot of money. So, but I don't care. And I'm going to show you why I don't care here in a second. So let's go to the next screen. So let's look at these pictures real quick. Okay, so I want people to understand what's available out there on a property where you don't have to go. I'm gonna have to show this in the front. Give me a second. Bring this to front. Take a second. It's trying to resume share. Okay. Oops. It's not letting me show these pictures. Let me try this one more time. New share.
We got to see the pictures. That's when people, it'll blow their minds with what you're doing.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me pause the share and go back. Let's go back to the screen. See if it'll not. I think I know what I got to do. It's a little tricky. I should have probably just opened this in a different, it's in a different window and had it up, but this, I'm just going to do it this way. Okay. Let's pulling this up right now. It's pulling it up. It's a little slow. It's pulling it up. Let me open this up.
The one of the things I like about being the bank model is I, own quite a few notes. And, I was telling Nick the other day, I took my family before COVID. We went to Europe. I don't know, I think it was like 20 some days. It's about 3 weeks. We were in Europe. We were doing our thing. And just with no stress of being a landlord, no stress of any of that stuff. Cause we don't, we can run this business with a servicing company and a very, and a personal assistant at the most, right? That's the great thing about owning notes is super scalable and you can be anywhere in the country doing this. That's the best part. Is it opening up?
Yeah. So I just got to reshare it again. Every time I click on the new picture, it's going to, it's just slow because it's pulling it off the net and we're streaming. So it's a little bit slow. But I just want to show it out of the drive. It's just taking it. Okay. Let me share this now. Go back to share. Okay. Okay. Now you should be able to see the front of this house when I click on this button. Can you see the front of that? Yeah.
No.
Not yet. Okay. Let
No.
me show it again. Let's see, desktop. Okay. Everything's just got a little bit of a delay. Why is it not?
Are you able to pull it up on Zillow and do it that way?
No, but it's saying, it's like screen is sharing. I'm sharing. It's like, it's not letting me. Well, let me try it this way. Let me see if I do this link. No, that's not what I wanted. Well, I may not be able to do this. I'm trying, it's not letting me. I'm going to the share screen and it just will not let me go to Chrome. Can you see the picture now?
Yeah, there you go.
There. Okay, that was weird. I did the same thing twice. So here's the exterior of the house. Okay, let's just go through it. This is what the house looks like
nice.
inside.
Did you renovate that?
I did not renovate it. Matter of fact, not only did I not renovate it, I've never even been to this house. You're looking at exactly what I looked at when I made the determination to buy this house. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't look at it. I mean, personally look at it. I look at pictures. Let's just go through a few more of these here real quick. Okay. Let me go to I'm just going to go through. This has got, it's got diagonal light tile there. I mean, this is a clean house.
When you look at a wholesale property, I mean, this looks like it was a renovated house and you got it for $129,000.
Got it for $129,000. And I just showed you what the value is on it. And then here's the killer deal. Part of this deal is the fact when I saw this right here, when I see a like new handler for an indoor furnace, and I see the outside door condenser being new. I mean, that carpet looks like it's brand new. It's already got two-tone. It's got green paint. It's got two-tone in the house.
Yeah.
Look, I honestly did not need to look. I stopped looking at this right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Just that simple. So let me stop this. Let me stop sharing that real quick. And then we go back to the PowerPoint. I didn't need to do any more than that. Would you agree, Eric? Why would I rehab
when
that
you showed
house?
me that deal, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So you literally you close on it and then come out the back end. You got the buyers line. You got people lined up that are non-bankable borrowers, but they're non-bankable, but they're phenomenal borrowers.
Yeah. So let's continue on with the scenario. So how did I find this buyer? Remember when I said,
people are going to be freaked out. They're like, well, wait a minute, you're paying 12.9% deferred interest. How in the world do you get exit out of here? So keep,
so let's go back to the screen right here.
It's going to get great.
So here, So when we talked about this, and this is one of the reasons why I like using Propelio, right? So, and I can't click on it here, but if I was in the app, I could click on this address right here.
Yeah.
And then I click on that address. This is what I get. This is the property that I got, and this is who sold this house. Okay. So this is, guess what I get here? I get the realtor information right here. I get her name, I get her phone number, I get her email address. Do you think if I called Lorena and I said, hey, Lorena, I got a house the next street over from the one that you sold. Do you have any buyers? Did you have multiple offers on that? Do you have any buyers that may be interested in a property in an area? What do you think the answer is usually?
And the answer is yes, but not only that, by the way, I'm going to be the lender on it too. So they don't have to go through the long battle of appraisals and inspections and all that other stuff. So you're going to actually get paid quicker. Do you have any
100%.
buyers that need financing too?
100%. So now, so what I'm providing to the agent in this situation is what? I'm providing them a property that no one else has access to, and I'm providing them the lending where they don't have to borrow or has to go to me to get qualified, not to Chase or Fargo or Bank of America or whoever. That's why this model works. And if you're a part of the Creative Deal Maker Academy, guess what you can do? If you don't want to do this, you can just outsource and have a disposition through the nationwide disposition channel. You don't want to go do what this is. That's exactly what that's exactly what we would do. Exactly. If you brought me a property, Eric, today in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yep.
Say, hey, Nick, I got this great deal, but I don't know what to do with it. I say, fine, submit it. We'll go sell it in just before you, charge you the fee and do exactly what I'm showing you to do right here.
So like if your unique ability is to just literally find deals nationwide and that's what you love to do, and that's all you like to do, and then you can outsource the disposition, the underwriting, all that stuff. So we'll talk about it.
That's the beauty of this whole, so from acquisition to disposition, all you have to be is the deal architect, right? You just have to be the person that puts everything together. You don't have to physically do everything. You don't need to underwrite the buyer. You don't need to do the loan origination documents. You don't need to do deal directly with the buyer and do the purchase sales agreement. You don't need to close them. There's people in companies that are responsible for that, whether it be a title company or third-party servicing company, whatever. I don't do any of this stuff.
That's what we talk about. That's what we teach you guys in this program.
Like I personally have done 700 plus creative financing deals. You know how many buyers I've actually talked to and spoken with and met? Zero. Zero. Why would I ever do that? I don't need to do that. And neither do you. You don't need to do that either. You just need to know who can do it for you. It's all about who, not about what. So when you figure out who can help you find the properties, who can help you underwrite the deals, who can help you sell them, who can help you sell the note and get paid on it. Once you know those answers to those questions, you can scale and replicate this model extremely quick. So let's go ahead and finish this out. So that's how we find the buyers. We do it all the time. It's a great model. That's not even, I could have done it on Facebook Marketplace just the same, but I just did it on this one because this is what we get. Let's continue on.
Well, yeah, because then you're done. The agents do all the work. I love using agents. I love paying agents because they do all the work. They're already trained professionals at this. I don't have to.
They're also the gift. They're also the gift that keeps on giving because guess what they have? More buyers.
Yeah.
Guess what they are now? So then the next time you get another deal, they become a buyer, or they know there's a potential pocket listing. Then they go out and find the buyer for that. So this is just a recap of what we talked about. This is the sale. This is what we did. I'm not going to go back and get into the details again, but I created a $132,000 first and a $28,000 second. So how do we make money on this deal, right? We talk about how do we get cash now, cash flow, cash later. Okay. Well, here it is right here. So this is first, we have to sell the note. And when I say sell the first note, I'm talking about the first lien. Remember, we wrote that at about 75% at $132,000. I'm going to sell this first lien at $128,000 with no seasoning. I actually already had it sold to one of my buyers of notes before I even closed on it with my buyer.
And just so you guys know, for the listeners here, this niche right here, what he just created was a first and second. Nick did hundreds and hundreds of them without creating first and seconds. And I always bring it up just to get them excited, but it cost them we figured it out one day. It cost them about $6 million. It was a $6 million mistake. You still made a fortune, but you got rid of the golden goose, which is this second. That's
so what you're able to, so what we're going to do is we're going to strip out all the cost. And then what we want to be left is what's the profit on the deal? Well, the profit on this deal is a free and clear second lien at $28,000 at a 10.5% interest rate. And the payment on that for principal and interest is $256. And then we also made cash on this deal. I'm going to go to the next screen here. I'm going to talk about what that looked like. So here's what I call the 45-day deal summary. That's about what we average. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes a little less. I think we're out of this one in about 28 days. You can't really do it much less than about 21 days because you got to send the borrower to the RMLO, which is the Residential Mortgage Loan Originator, to keep it Dodd-Frank compliance. Again, another outsourced service.
And all of these borrowers are fully compliant. They're done. They're originated and underwritten just like a bank would. So you have a valuable asset to sell.
Well, remember, we are being the bank here, right? We are the bank. That's what we're doing. We are the bank. So we want to act and think like a bank. Well, what does a bank do when they lend money on a property? They underwrite the borrower. No different. It's exactly what we're doing here. So here's the 45-day summary. So when this is all said and done and I bought it and I fixed it and I sold it, okay, and I created a note, then I'm going to sell that first note. I'm going to, then with the proceeds from the sale of that first note, I'm going to pay off the underlying debt. Okay. I'm going to wipe it out. And then I also going to have some cash that comes in from the down payment. Remember when on that previous screen, I think we got $15,000 down payment, right? Well, that's cash that goes to my pocket, but I still have some expenses I have to pay, right? I have to pay marketing fees or a realtor fee, some closing cost. And maybe I didn't.
But Nick, that 8,250 is after paying all those fees.
Yeah, this is net. This is the net.
That's net in your pocket. That's out of the 15 grand, you're getting 8,250 and 256 a month.
It started at 50. It started at 15.
Yep.
It started at 15,000 is what it was. The net cash. I'd probably just change this to net.
After paying your lender back and expenses and closing costs, you're making 8,250.
So at the end of the day,
there's wholesalers that he probably made net cash on this more than the wholesaler.
The wholesale, I know what the wholesaler made. He did not make 8,250 on this deal.
What did he make?
Made about $6,000.
So he made 6,000, but you're going to get 8,250, 256, and we're going to go through this deal.
And I would argue that he spent more. I would argue that he spent more, and he's got a cost to make that $6,000.
Oh yeah.
He had to invest money into marketing and advertising. And how many sellers did he have to actually talk to get one to say yes to his offer? Right.
I always tell, I don't want to get ahead of the deal here, but how many of these deals would you need to do to get to $10,000 a month at $256 in cash flow? And now keep in mind, this 256 on average is pretty low for what we typically make. But I mean, it's only 40 deals. And in 2 years, you do 2 deals a month and you're going to get to 10 grand a month in cash flow, not to mention the note value of over millions of dollars, right?
Of course. Yeah. So here's this, what we try to show and teach is how to generate infinite return on investment with little to no risk, little to no cash out of pocket, and then be able to make cash flow in a lump sum payout. So did we accomplish that in this example? And the answer is absolutely yes. Okay. And it's a very doable, repeatable, scalable model. So the cash now 8,250, cash flow is 256, and the second lien value is $28,000. So let's go one more slide up here and go to the next slide here. And let's just talk about what this looks like over a 10-year projection. Okay. Because most mortgages stay in place for 10 years now. I've got some that have been longer.
Especially seller finance deals. I have notes right now that are 11 years old paying actually I have one right now, been paying 11 years at 12% interest.
They continue to pay, and they're going to be good borrowers. And as property values go up, they have more equity in it.
Yeah, they have equity. They don't care.
So let's just talk about what 10 years looks like. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, in 10 years, the cash that we got is not going to change. It's still the 8,250, right? But 10 years worth of cash flow at $256 a month is $30,720.
That's 120 months at 256 is 30,720 in 10
Right.
years. Okay.
So then we also are the bank, right? What happens when somebody sells a property? The title company calls the bank. Who's the bank? We're the bank. They're going to call the bank for a payoff and they go, Mr. Bank, I need the payoff for 804 North Dallas in Kaufman. And it's 10 years in the future. What's that payoff amount? Well, I own the second lien, own the second mortgage. I'm going to look at my amortization table. Actually, I'm not. The servicer will. They'll generate a payoff. They'll send it to the title company and it's going to be for $25,653. Okay.
Like $2,500 came off that $28,000 payment. That's the power of amortization. That's why this is so important to understand, you guys.
Yes.
Like how
So what does
impressive
mean 10 years from now? So in 10 years from now, from taking a deal that came from a wholesale that made 6,000, we made 8,200 in 2 months, but then we also got the benefit of owning this free and clear mortgage note with no risk and no debt on it and no cash out of pocket. And we're going to get paid on that in perpetuity until it pays. And that's going to, and I just use this, you can run it for 30 years and see how much it would be. I just use this for illustration purposes. But this model in 10 years doing this one deal is going to be worth a total of $64,623. Okay. With no risk, no cash out of pocket. And
the risk is, and then the best part is the note buyer that you sold it to. Someone asked in the chat here, are you writing first right of refusal when you sell the first note? Some of our buyers will allow it, some won't, but we always try it. But the other thing we do is we want to have right of first refusal to buy the property back if the buyer ever tries to sell it, because we already know our position. We're their best buyer because no one will pay more than what we're paying, most likely, unless there's a massive increase in appreciation.
So let's get through these other couple, then we'll jump into the Q&A. Okay. So let's just see what we have here. I think actually that pretty much summarizes it actually right there. So I want to jump into the Q&A part of it. I'm going to stop the share so we can both be on the screen simultaneously. And actually, before we do that, let's talk just real briefly about because some of the people that are watching are already members and they're always welcome to come back and hear more of what we talk about. But what the membership actually includes by being part of the Creative Dealmaker Academy is that they get all these documents and samples and the transaction tracker and all the case studies. They're also going to get access to you and me in our weekly office hours. We're going to do the Deal or No Deal live, which is basically a lot deeper dive on how we got to this point, because the Deal or No Deal is basically the forecasting of what we think was going to happen based on the data that we have. What we just went through here is the actual result of doing so. So the forecast and the actual, they could be different most of the time.
So, and the cool thing, like guys, Nick and I are doing deals like this every single day. We have deals that we're buying, deals that we're selling. We have systems in place. And so we do these weekly office hours where you can submit your deal and then we can go through them to see if it makes sense or not. That's the benefit of this program, especially at the price that we're
and that's what we do. So, I would say that 95% of the time, at least when I use the analysis and the modeling spreadsheet, my actual profitability on the deal is 95% of the time is greater than what I forecast in the model. Because remember, we model extremely conservatively. Okay. But could I have gone and sold that property on my own and not paid 3% to a realtor? Could I have taken that instead of paying 3% on 170,000, which is about $5,400? Could I have taken that property and listed it on Facebook Marketplace and sold that property myself and not paid that money out?
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing a lot of our students do, and we do sometimes, is we'll put on Facebook Marketplace. We'll have like an open house, right? We'll have an open house and then you bid on the down payment. So you actually bid on the down payment. That's the other. There's so many ways to to skin the cat here, but Nick,
Yeah.
the way he runs
So-
his business, he literally outsources everything. So it just runs.
Well, and
itself.
that's what we would do. Anybody that wanted to JV or partner with us, that's exactly what we would do. But Eric and I are not going to be the ones that are going to be looking for the buyer. We're not going to be the ones that are going to be underwriting the files or servicing the payments or doing any of that stuff. That's what we have this whole huge resource section, whether it's for private money or hard money or the underwriting, all that stuff's already there. And you can either pick things that you want to do yourself or have somebody else do them for you, because it's just an expense that you have to pay. So what I want to do is let's go to the chat real quick, Eric, and let's answer some questions. But I would really like to just, if somebody has a question, raise their hand and we'll unmute them and we can answer and ask that question to everybody. So everybody can hear.
I'm going to ask a quick question right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
We
So
get asked all
before
the
you
time.
start, if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll go through them. We'll answer the questions. But Eric, while people are doing that, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. So the questions we ask is, it goes back to why we do a first and second. The first, for one thing, is you do the first and second because it gives you that chance to sell a 75% loan to value loan, which you did it even as a discount, but we're not doing that at a discount as much anymore because of, I mean, you're still making a ton of money, by the way, so you can still do the discount. But I mean, right now you can't even get, a 10-year bond is at 1.5%, tax-free. So when you're selling a secured first position note that's fully underwritten, that passes like the Dodd-Frank guidelines and all the restrictions, these borrowers are great borrowers. They're just not bankable. Like there's going to be a plethora. There's more borrowers out there that can't get, there's more buyers out there that can't get bank financing than there's houses. I mean, and then the inventory is so low. So if you're providing a really nice move-in ready house that has seller financing and you're only getting 10 to 10% down, like good Lord. And here's the thing that people, the other benefit, we're buying this house wholesale. Okay. We're selling it retail. So that's where the arbitrage is. So that's where the money is. That's why you're making, and you have an infinite return because you got all your money back and you have a bunch of $28,000 to $40,000 loans sitting out there free and clear. Right.
But so here's another thing I want to talk about on this, Eric, is that because we have all different types of real estate investors that are professional real estate investors that have been doing deals, hundreds and thousands of deals, work with some of the biggest wholesalers all across the country. Look, they can surely do this themselves, or they can just, find a way to get the seller to give the seller what they're asking instead of the seller trying to get the seller to take their cash offer. Yep. And those can all be pushed and pushed through the system and sent over and get paid a referral fee for those. So if this is too complex, or, you already have a really successful wholesaling business and you don't want to do this, fine, we'll do it for you. And we'll just pay you the fee for the lead if we get the deal done and you go on your merry way. Because at the end of the day, this is all about monetizing the dead leads if you're a wholesaler. That's the first thing. That's the one thing on that. If you're a landlord, you got to pay a little bit more attention to what we're talking about, because you want to go create this opportunity for cash flow, and you're going to have to underwrite the borrower or have somebody help you underwrite the borrower, I should say, to generate cash flow. I'm working with an investor right now down in South Texas. He's got 10 rental properties and he's tired of chasing these people around. And now he wants us to just become a bank. That's actually what he said. And he goes, I want to be the bank. I'm tired of dealing with this. What do I need to do? How do we need to do it? Well, this is exactly what you need to do and how to do it. Guess what? He doesn't have to go to get the money from the bank. He already owns it free and clear.
How many, hey, Nick, real quick, how many times on your loans do you get a phone call to fix anything?
Never. Why would
Never.
I? Never. I'll ask the question to everybody listening. If you have a home mortgage with Bank of America, Chase, or Wells Fargo, how many times have you ever called the bank for any reason? The answer is never.
And it's a pain in the butt nowadays to even call the bank because they'll outsource you to the deal. Hey, real quick, before we hop off, I want to, can you go into the website and just show people where to go to log in?
Let me share the screen again. So give me 1 second to go back to that. Give me 1 second. So while we're doing that, check the chat box, Eric, see if there's any more questions. I know we were pretty thorough on going through everything, but I just want to make sure, give people one last one last chance to ask any questions, and then we'll jump back over to.
I'm good. Yeah, we're good.
I think we got everything covered. We sort of answered them as we were going through.
Right.
All right, let me share the screen here, and we'll go through this. And I think what I want to do is, so let's go ahead and share this real quick. You can see the screen. Okay. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
So here it is. This actually goes, this actually is we've already did a soft launch on this. We've had extremely positive response, with the people that are actively, submitting and doing deals now. This is your opportunity. The doors literally are going to open up after the completion of this call today. So you'll want to join. If you go here and join now, you can see what it is. Talks about us, a little bit about the class, what you're going to get, and everything that goes along with this thing. Look, this is either you see the value in it or you don't. This is a great, what I would call alternative to your existing business strategy. You can implement this on everything that doesn't necessarily work for what you're accustomed to doing. I like to say, if you're a wholesaler, for example, continue to go get the transactional cash on that 20% you're able to convert. Then I'm just going to say that 80% that you don't convert, implement this model, and maybe you get another 5 or 10 or 20% of those deals, because you have a creative strategy and solution to it.
So Nick, what I was going to say is, we were on a call yesterday, you and I were, and then you showed me your screen, and you were, I looked at one of your deals or whatever that was just in your inbox. And so it was a seller finance deal. Like, if you just get on if you're in a market, you just get on a couple lists of wholesalers and you start seeing the deal flow come in, you will understand. So if you just said, all I want to do is buy 1 or 2 deals a month. Okay. Keep in mind, your job is to go find an investor or a hard money lender, private money, that'll fund the deal at 12.9% at 2 points. Like, good Lord, they're out there everywhere. They fund the deal. You exit out of it, and you just do it over and over again. You build this pipeline. In 2 years, if you just made $256 a month, okay, if you just made $256 a month and did 40 of these, that's 10 grand a month in passive income. Like, there's nothing to do.
And what I will say,
there's
with all
nothing
of
to
that,
do. There's other than collect your money.
But
right?
all of this is inside the academy, right? So if they don't know, or they don't have the access to it, then all they got to do is go follow the course and the materials and information and do it. So I'm going to go back, because we're almost at the top of the hour. I want to be respectful of people's time. So I am going to go back to the screen share. Can you see the screen right now?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, super. So the last thing we have here, you can go to, you already showed the website, go to creativedealmaker.com. We're making a special offer for the first new 50 new founding members. We already have some of that already established, and we're offering a $500 discount for anybody that, for the first 50. Obviously, that could be that could go to fill up today. It could fill up in a week. I don't really know, based on
this course is going at $997, but we're giving it a discount for $497, and it's a steal at that. And it's going to go up from there as we.
We just showed how I just made $8,250 and $256 a month in cash flow. If they can't afford it, or they don't think it's a good deal, then just don't do it. This is not a high pressure sale. But I will tell you this: I work with some of the biggest real estate investors across the country, and it blows their mind when they see this stuff in an action. Just the educational value of just knowing that you can go creatively structure deals and be the bank is worth 10 times as much.
Hey, Nick, remember so real quick before we get off, we actually took our kids to the All-Star game.
Yes.
And we were there in Denver. We did a meetup, and we met with this guy at a fix and flip. He was going to sell this fix and flip and make $50,000. Okay. That was his profit after it was all said and done. But when we talked to him, we told him, well, wait a minute, this is a number that you could get if you got the down payment and got the cash flow, where he was taking over an existing payment at 3% interest. He was going to sell the golden goose, right? So now he ended up selling the property on seller financing. He actually made $40,000 profit, plus paid off all his lenders and everything, and another $1,000 a month cash flow on one deal. That one deal. So now he made $52,000 in 12 months, but now he's going to make $1,000 a month perpetually, not to mention the spread in the note that he created. That was just the transactional cash he made plus the cash flow. I mean, so you guys really got to ask yourself the question when you're looking at your fix and flips and your wholesale deals is how to like wake up like Nick and I have, wake up several years later and you've got tens of thousands of dollars coming in a month on these free and clear assets. So that's all.
Yeah, I think it gets back to what we've said before. It's thinking and acting like a bank. And I will say this, and I've said it many times. There's a reason why the biggest buildings in every city have the name of Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America at the top, because they've learned to control and not own real estate. And the sooner you can understand and grasp that conceptually, the more money you can make. And this system allows you to do it. So a couple questions pop up. I'm going to unmute Joel here real quick. He's got a question. I just want to make sure I can answer it verbally versus typing it out. So Joel, go ahead and unmute yourself. And what's your question?
Yeah, hi, Nick and Eric. Thanks so much. Great presentation. I've seen the other Deal or No deals, and it's exciting. So right up front, does any of these deals hinge on getting that private money to get the deal funded initially, right? In this case, you're 172 and whatnot at the 12.5, 2 points.
Well, that's a great question. Well, this particular deal, like for this particular deal, the only way I was going to be able to control this property was buying it, okay, with cash. So then if it's going to be a cash transaction, then I would either have to do one of three things. I can either use my own cash if I had it. That's one option. I can go borrow it from a hard money lender, which is what I did do, or I can go maybe get private capital from somebody that's got IRA money, family, friends, that kind of thing. So that's how I had to get this. But I will tell you that this exit or this acquisition is one of 5 or 6. I could have very easily got a property very similar to this, where maybe there's an underlying bank loan in place at 3.5% from Chase or Wells Fargo, and the seller would have allowed me to buy it using that debt. They may have owned this property free and clear, for example, and they may have given me the loan instead of me going out and borrowing from a hard money lender. So there's different ways that can be acquired and done.
Yeah. So Joel, I'll just give you some feedback on how I originally started in real estate. I raised majority of my money from self-directed IRA investors. So these people had jobs. I'm 49 now. So I can tell you right now that at my age, there are probably 50 of my friends that have actually worked 2 to 3 different jobs and have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in retirement money that you can help them convert. So I actually help people convert their money into IRA to become my lender. But this particular transaction, the one thing I love about the way Nick does it, there's private investors, 12.9% and 2 points, for God's sakes. Like, I mean, that's a no brainer. There's thousands of hard money lenders and I mean, even in this group that we're in, there's people with money right now that would love to get 12.9% and 2 points that understand this model. Deferred payments. Like most of my investors, when I do fix and flip and do these types of transactions, they give me 100% financing and I defer the payments until for 12 months while I go out and exit and dispose of the property, which is creating a first, creating a second, sell the first, keep the second, rinse and repeat. That's what I do.
And I'm just saying, is that once in the academy, do we have access to those lenders? I mean, is there a pool or you have? Yeah,
there's a whole pool of, depending on where the property is located, depending on where you are, I don't have the updated number, but we had hundreds of lenders that had thousands of lending programs as part of it. So, and there's different reasons for, there's different, is it a multifamily that you're trying to borrow on? Is it single family? Is it Is it land development? Is it in California? Is it in Ohio? All those factors come into play, but the lending platform is that when you submit to that, you can have access to that, and by submitting the deal,
We
and
have
then you
we
can
have,
find
we
the
have
lender.
resources for that,
Yeah.
but we also teach you how we went out and got our own people. So it's just a phone call away and you close.
Yeah.
What? Hey,
exactly.
Joel, what market are you in?
I'm here in Chicago,
Okay.
suburban Chicago, and not to take up the bandwidth of others here. The other last question. So if we jump in today, is there annual? Is it lifetime? What does that 497 get us?
It's lifetime. You get access to this course.
Well,
for
it's
the-
there. The data's there, right? It's a one-time fee. There's no recurring. monthly
There's no
expense.
reoccurring fee.
Okay, that's as you're probably aware, there's sometimes annual fees with this stuff. Thanks so
We're-
much.
Not,
It's
not
all
this
there. You can
deal.
go download it. You can go download it all and put it wherever you want. Look, here's the thing. We're trying to educate. Okay. And the way that we benefit from sharing this with you and others is by helping you get more deals done. By helping you get more deals done, helps us allow to stay and participate as well. For example, we may be a lender for this. We may be a note buyer for this. We may be the disposition arm for this. There's a lot of ways that we can financially participate in helping you get the deals done. You might just want to go
real
find
quick.
deals.
We had a question. We had a question
Yeah.
from Hammond too on here.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Joel.
Joel.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing you in the program.
All right. Did we answer Hammond's question? Let's see. I lost it. There's so many in here. I think we got through most of these. I don't see.
Oh, he's right. Oh, you know what? He was direct to me. Sorry about that.
Okay. Hammond, if you have a question you want to ask, just raise your hand real quick and we'll unmute you. But if not, I think we're getting pretty close to the end of this. Go to creativedealmaker.com. You can see it. You can join the private Facebook group. We're going to do have weekly office hours. Well, Eric and I will set a time in advance and be on a call, be on a Zoom call, and you can come in and go out and ask the questions. We can help work the deals, and everybody will get to be able to share in that learning experience, because ultimately that's what this is all about. We're all about collaboration and hopefully help you guys get more deals done. And if you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of deal flow, well, that's okay too, because inside this group, there's people that have money. There's people that are wholesalers that have deal flow, but don't know how to exit out of it. You guys can collectively and collaborate and work together to get the deals done, because there's a lot of money to be made in the creative deal structuring, especially in the cash flow and the cash later. Most people in real estate are only looking at the cash now, which I think is the biggest mistake that people make. And they're looking at how to get the cash now. Eric, you said it earlier, the $6 million mistake that I made, because I was more concerned about how much cash I was making now versus what I could have been making if I would have just done one thing differently and restructured the deal.
You still made a gobs of money during that program, during your deal when you were doing that, and you created a system that you were able to sell to a bank. So you did well for yourself. But the point is, for me, it's not about, I have friends that are like, okay, I got to have 5 million in the bank, 10 million in the bank, 1 million in the bank. That doesn't do you anything if you don't have cash flow coming in. You'll outspend your money. Our job is to not outspend our money and create a lifestyle that we can do that's stress-free and travel and do whatever you want, educate, be around like-minded people. One more thing, Hammond asked, have you ever done this with jets or a yacht? And the answer, I answered it to you. The answer is, you can pretty much do creative financing with any seller that's willing to work with you and create terms. Terms are the best. Like, there's people that own jets and yachts right now that don't want the jet or yacht, but they're willing to create.
What about the Sprinter van that I'm looking to take down on?
Yeah.
Guy's going to carry the note back, buy it, seller finance, and I'll make payments to him, and I'll probably turn around and short-term rental it out and have it paid off in about a year. You can do creative deal structuring on anything: land, homes, businesses, commercial properties, anything. It's totally up to you. All right. I think that's good for today. Thanks for joining creativedealmaker.com. Hope to see you on the inside. Join the private Facebook group. make sure you get on our email list so that you can at least receive updates on when we do deal or no deal, live analysis and things like that. That's all I've got. Eric, thanks for joining. Hope to see you guys on the next call.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Thanks a lot. Have an awesome day. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.